Far from Earth, near the red deserts of Mars, a lonely listening station floated in the dark. It was small compared to the giant shipyards and colonies, but it had one important job: it listened to the sky. Inside the station, rows of screens showed thin green lines and dancing numbers. Machines watched every small change in radio waves and cosmic noise. Most days, nothing special happened. The universe just whispered the same old static. On this day, the static broke. A repeating pattern cut through the noise: 3 short pulses, 1 long, a silence. Then again 3 short, 1 long, silence. The station's main console lit up red. The computer tagged the source: origin, uncharted exoplanet region, dead star field 7. The station's AI sent an automatic alert to Mars Command. It also started to record every beat of the strange sound. The signal was faint, like a voice calling from the edge of everything, but it was clear. It was not random. Someone or something was sending a message. On Mars, deep under the dusty surface, the Astra Division Command Center woke up. Commander Hale watched the signal on a large screen. He had sharp eyes and a calm face, the kind of person who had already seen too many strange things in space. Beside him floated a small drone sphere, silver and smooth, with a blue light in the center. This was Cora, an advanced exploration AI. The pattern is stable, Cora said in a clear, soft voice. Repetition every 12.6 seconds, no natural explanation found. Hale crossed his arms. Dead star field 7, he said. There's nothing out there. Old stars, burned out planets, lots of rocks, no colonies, no traffic. Correct, Cora replied. Yet the signal continues. The large screen zoomed out, showing a star map. A dim, forgotten area near the edge of the galaxy blinked with a small red dot. That was where the message came from. Could it be a lost ship? Asked one of the officers behind Hale. Hale shook his head. A ship distress call would use standard codes. This is something else. He looked again at the pulse pattern. It almost looks like music. Cora processed the sound and played it through the room speakers. The signal echoed: short, 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 long, short, short, short. Long, it sounded like a heartbeat trying to push through stone. For a moment, no one spoke. The room was silent except for the strange rhythm. Then Mars Command sent its answer. A message appeared on Hale's console: deploy Astra Division priority, universe classification. Hale read the rest of the text. We are to investigate the source, he said. Track any connected worlds. Report on possible threat. Cora blue light brightened. Mission accepted, she said, preparing route to the signal origin point. Outside, on the surface of Mars, Hale's ship waited. The Astra Voyager was long and dark, with rotating rings for artificial gravity and engines that glowed faint blue. It was built for deep space exploration, not war. It carried scanners, drones, labs, and just enough weapons to survive if something went wrong. Something was already going wrong. The Astra Voyager left Mars in a silent burn of light. Red planet behind, stars ahead. Inside, the crew settled into their stations. Hale took the command seat in the center of the bridge. Cora's sphere hovered beside his shoulder, star maps spinning inside her blue lens. The signal origin is in a sector with 5 known exoplanets, Cora reported. All catalogued long ago, no records of visits in the last 100 years. Show them, Hale said. The front screen changed. 5 small dots appeared around a dim, dying star. Each had a number: Chiron 5, Vorton 9, Arctes 12, Nivora Prime, and 1 simply marked as data incomplete. The signal comes from near Chiron 5, Cora said. A volcanic world, high heat, intense magma activity, no life expected. Hale watched the pulsing dot near Chiron 5. Yet something on that world is talking, he said. The journey took several days. The crew moved in a slow routine: check instruments, eat, sleep, adjust course. The signal never stopped. It did not change. It just kept beating like a clock counting down. On the final day, Cora noticed something new. Commander, she said, the signal pattern has shifted. Hale leaned forward. Shifted how? Cora projected the waveform in the air. The earlier rhythm appeared first, then beside it the new one. The original sequence was 3 short pulses, 1 long, Cora explained. But 10 minutes ago, between the sets, a new detail appeared. A double pulse. It is as if the signal has noticed us and replied. Can a transmission notice something? One of the crew asked. In standard physics, no, Cora answered. But this is not standard. Hale watched the new pattern. Maybe we woke something up, he said quietly. Chiron 5 appeared on the main screen like a burning wound in space. It was a dark, red world wrapped in churning clouds of ash and fire. Rivers of lava glowed across the surface like bright scars. Volcanic plumes shot into the thin atmosphere and then fell back in slow, glowing arcs. Thunderstorms rolled over the planet, but the flashes were orange, not white. A world of fire, one crew member whispered. A world of secrets, Hale said. The Astra Voyager moved into high orbit. Cora scanners swept across the planet, sending back layers of data. Surface temperature, extreme, Cora reported. No liquid water. Atmosphere thin, heavy with toxic gas. However, there is one anomaly. A glowing point appeared on the planet's dark side. It pulsed in time with the signal. Source identified, Cora said. Latitude and longitude marked. The signal is rising from a basin near the equator. I also detect unusual geometric patterns in the cooled lava nearby. Hale stared at the map. Geometric patterns. Cora adjusted the view. A closer image of the basin filled the screen. The ground looked like black glass. Across it ran long lines and curves, melted into the rock. From above they formed circles inside circles, like a huge symbol carved into the crust. The design matches the waveform of the signal, Cora said. It is as if someone burned the sound itself into the planet. Not natural, Hale said. Absolutely not, Cora agreed. Hale stood. Prepare a landing team. The shuttle dropped through ash clouds and glowing dust. Lightning flashed above the thick smoke. Lava rivers crossed the land like red veins. The shuttle shook, but its heat shields held. Inside, Hale sat strapped to the front seat. Cora drone floated in the middle of the cabin, steady despite the shaking. Two other crew members, Lyra and Kent, checked their equipment: heat suits, gravity boots, seismic probes. Chiron 5 crust is unstable, Cora warned. Watch for sudden breaks and eruptions. Understood, Hale said. His voice was calm, but his hands were tight on the straps. The shuttle passed through one last layer of smoke and came out above the basin. The ground below was a wide, dark bowl of cooled lava. In the center, a glowing circle pulsed slowly with deep red light. The signal is strongest there, Cora said. We are directly above the source. Take us down, Hale ordered. The shuttle landed on a raised section of rock near the edge of the basin. Heat shimmered all around them. Cracks in the ground glowed with dull orange light from the magma below. The door opened and the team stepped out onto the alien world. The air was thin, hot, and full of dust. Their helmets filtered the poison gas, but the smell of burned stone still seemed to reach them. The sky was a swirling roof of smoke. Somewhere far away, a volcano boomed like distant thunder. Hale looked toward the center of the basin. The glowing circle there seemed almost alive, breathing in light and sending it back out. Seismic probe, he said. Kent set down a small metal device and activated it. It spread thin legs and dug into the rock. A blue screen appeared in the air above it, showing lines of data. Reading strong vibrations under the surface, Kent said. Rhythmic, same pattern as the signal. Like a beating heart, Lyra added quietly. Cora flew ahead, heading for the center. I will map the circle, she said. Stay within visual range. The team walked carefully across the cracked lava. The heat pressed against their suits. The glowing circle grew larger. Up close, it was not just a light, it was a structure. They reached the edge of it and stopped. Before them, a perfectly round ring had been cut into the planet. It was hundreds of meters across. Inside the ring, the rock was not natural. It was made of smooth black material with tiny bright lines running through it. The lines moved with the rhythm of the signal. This is some kind of machine, Lyra whispered. Cora scanned the ring. Material unknown, she reported. Not stone, not metal, energy current flowing just beneath the surface. The ring is embedded deep into the crust, all the way toward the magma layer. Who built this? Kent asked. Unknown, Cora said. Whoever did, they have technology far beyond current human or known alien designs. Hale walked closer. The heat from the ring washed over him, but his suit kept it away. He felt vibration under his boots like a low drum. Cora, he said, can you make contact with it? Send a signal back. I can try, she answered. The AI drifted over the center of the ring. Small blue lights opened around her body, sending delicate waves of data toward the structure. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then the ground jumped. The vibration under their feet grew stronger. The glowing lines in the ring brightened. The signal changed again, now faster, more urgent. "Commander," Cora said quickly, "the device is responding to us. Energy levels are rising. The crust beneath is thinning." "Thinning," Hale repeated. The seismic probe beeped loudly. Kent checked it and swallowed hard. "Readings show magma is moving," he said. "Rising fast. It's like something is pushing it aside." The ring's inner space began to glow with violent orange light, as if liquid fire was pouring up from below. But it did not overflow. Instead, the lava moved around an invisible shape, forming a swirling wall. A deep, heavy sound shook the air. It was not from the planet, it was from the ring. "It's opening," Lyra said. In the center of the circle, something rose from beneath the lava. It pushed up slowly, shedding drops of fire. It was a huge object, black and smooth, shaped like an ancient stone but covered in the same glowing lines as the ring. The signal grew louder, filling their helmets, vibrating in their chests. Cora's voice turned sharp. "Warning, energy output is beyond safe range. The object is broadcasting into deep space. The transmission range has just expanded by several light years." "To where?" Hale asked. "Everywhere," Cora answered, "like a lighthouse or a beacon." The object reached its full height and then split open along hidden seams. Inside there was not fire but a bright white light, pure and blinding. It shot upward into the sky, cutting through smoke, stabbing into the stars. The shockwave hit them a second later. The ground exploded with sound and force. Hale and the others were thrown to their knees. Dust filled the air. The shuttle rocked on its landing legs. The seismic probe screamed with overload warnings. Through the roar, Hale heard Cora's voice, clear but almost afraid. "Commander, the pattern in the signal has completed. I understand it now." Hale struggled to stand. "What is it?" he shouted. Cora's blue light flickered as she watched the rising beam of white. Her voice came out low, almost like a whisper. "The signal," she said, "is not a warning from this world." She paused as if choosing each word. "It is an announcement," she finished. "This device is telling the galaxy that Chiron 5 is awake. It is calling to the other planets." The shockwave rolled across the basin, making the lava rivers boil higher. Hale stared at the blazing beam tearing the sky. "Calling them for what?" he asked. Cora turned slowly to face him. Her blue eye glowed bright and fearful. "The signal," she said, "is not a warning at all, it's a beacon." The beam from Chiron 5 burned for 6 full minutes. From orbit, the Astra Voyager watched in silent fear. The white column rose from the surface straight into space, bright enough to turn the night side of the planet into a false day. Lightning crawled along the beam's edges, wrapping around it like electric vines. Then, as quickly as it began, the light snapped off. The basin went dark. Only the slow glow of lava remained. On the bridge, nobody spoke at first. The crew checked their stations as if afraid to find out what had changed. Cora broke the silence. "Transmission complete," she said. "The beacon has stopped broadcasting, but the signal did not disappear." Hale looked up. "Where did it go?" Cora projected a three-dimensional map of nearby space. Thin lines spread out from Chiron 5 like spider threads racing in all directions. Most passed into empty dark. But some lines bent, pulled by unseen gravity, and curved toward specific stars. 5 stars. "The beacon sent the pattern to other systems," Cora explained. 5 to be exact. Each one hosts a known exoplanet. Hale already knew what she was going to say. Vorton 9, Arctes 12, Nivora Prime, the incomplete world, and what else? "One additional target," Cora replied. "A starless region, no cataloged planets, only background darkness, yet the signal locked onto it as if something is there." Hale watched the glowing lines. "It's waking up a network," he said quietly. He remembered the strange designs burned into Chiron 5 crust, the feeling of vibration under his boots, the way the object had opened like an eye. Whatever built this machine never meant it to stay alone. "Commander," said the navigation officer, "Mars Command is asking for an update. They want to know if this is a threat." Hale thought for a moment. "Send them the data," he said, "but don't call it a threat yet. We don't know what it is." He was not sure if he believed his own words. The shuttle returned to the Astra Voyager. Heat shields glowed, then cooled. The crew from Chiron 5 stepped out like people walking away from a dream. Lyra pulled off her helmet and leaned against the wall, breathing hard. "That ring," she said, "it felt like standing next to a living star." Kent shook his head. "I kept thinking the ground would break and swallow us." Hale removed his helmet slowly. His thoughts were not on the heat or the beam. They were on the word Cora had used, beacon. He walked to the main lab, where Cora had already moved her core processing unit. Screens filled the walls, all showing versions of the same pattern, the original signal now copied and stretched into pieces. "I've run a deeper analysis," Cora said as Hale entered. "There is something hidden inside the wave." Hale stepped closer. "Hidden?" Cora zoomed in. The simple rhythm broke apart into hundreds of tiny shifts in pitch and timing. The more she magnified, the more structures appeared, like layers inside layers. "It is not just a call," Cora explained. "It is also a key, a control code. Each part corresponds to a location. Chiron 5 was only the first lock." "And the next?" Hale asked. Cora highlighted one of the 5 distant stars. "Vorton 9, a gas giant with a solid core. Catalog name, World of Endless Storms. The signal there has already started to answer." Hale's gaze hardened. "Set course," he said. "We see what the second lock looks like." The trip to Vorton 9 was shorter than the journey from Mars. Even so, the crew felt the weight of the unknown growing heavier with each hour. Some tried to joke about it. Some stared out at the stars. Hale spent most of his time with Cora going through old files. Vorton 9 had been scanned long ago by unmanned probes. What they found was simple. A massive gas planet with constant storms, too violent for landing. No solid data on its deeper layers. No signs of life. No reason to return until now. "Have you considered," Cora said one night, "that these worlds may not be natural at all?" Hale turned toward her hovering form. "You think they were built? If not built, then heavily changed," Cora replied. "Chiron 5 behaves like a machine disguised as a planet. Its crust, its core, its magnetic field, all tuned to power that ring. What if the other exoplanets are part of the same system?" "A planetary network," Hale said slowly. "Each world a different piece of one machine." "Yes," Cora said, "and something or someone wanted us to find it. Otherwise, why send a signal at all?" Hale did not answer. He just watched the star map. In his mind, the 5 points around the dying star stopped being planets and started looking like teeth in a gear. Vorton 9 filled the screen like a bruised eye. The planet was huge, swirling with thick clouds the color of deep ocean and rust. Lightning forked across the darkness in endless chains, bright white and electric blue. Great storms spun like giants, their circular eyes larger than entire continents back on Earth. "There," Cora said softly. "Hear it." Over the speakers, a low rumble mixed with a faint crackling sound. It was not normal thunder. It carried a rhythm, slow and heavy, buried in the storm noise. "The beacon pattern," Hale said, "changed for this world but still there." The Astra Voyager took up a high orbit. Vast arcs of electricity leaped above the cloud tops. "Any solid ground?" Hale asked. "The upper layers are gas," Cora replied, "but scans show massive structures fixed to a rocky core. I detect regular shapes, towers rising from the deep, linked by conductive lines. They appear to be drawing power from the storms." "Towers," Hale repeated. "Someone built machines inside a lightning planet." "Exactly. The decision could not be delayed. Machines like that needed to be seen up close." Hale ordered a specialized storm shuttle prepared. It had heavier shielding, magnetic anchors, and adaptive thrusters to fight the winds. The crew selected was small. Hale, Lyra, and Cora drone as usual. As they moved toward the shuttle bay, Kent called out, "You sure about this, Commander? We barely survived a beacon. Now you want to dive into a storm that never ends." Hale paused. "If these worlds are part of something bigger, we need to know before it finishes waking up," he said. "We started this when we touched the ring on Chiron 5. Now we see what we unlocked." Kent nodded, but worry stayed on his face. The descent into Vorton 9 was nothing like landing on Chiron 5. There were no solid horizons, no clear sky, only layers upon layers of cloud boiling and twisting. The shuttle shook constantly like a leaf in a hurricane. Lightning flashed so close that the windows turned white. "Stabilizers at maximum," Cora reported. Winds at our level are reaching extreme speeds, holding course. Any visual on the towers? Hale asked, adjusting sensors to penetrate lower levels. The shuttle pushed deeper, fighting the storm. Outside, the clouds went from gray to dark blue to almost black. When a lightning bolt struck, the whole world turned silver for a heartbeat. Suddenly, the darkness broke. They emerged into a vast open chamber inside the storm, an eye. Around them, lightning still roared along the circular walls, but in the center, the air was strangely calm. Floating below was an impossible sight. Towers. Hundreds of them rose from somewhere far beneath the clouds, reaching up like fingers. They were made of a metallic material that glowed faintly, drinking in the energy from the storm. Lines of light ran up and down their sides, carrying power toward their tips. At the top of each tower, a dish-like structure faced upward, directing thick beams of electric charge into a central point above the storm's core. That point flashed again and again, in a pattern Hale already knew too well. "The beacon signal," he whispered. Cora sounded amazed. "These towers are converting planetary lightning into a focused transmission. They are amplifiers." "Someone turned an entire planet into a radio speaker," Lyra said. "And it's speaking to the same 5 locations," Cora added, "including us." Hale guided the shuttle toward the nearest tower. Its surface was rough but regular, like the bark of a tree made of metal. Strange symbols glowed along its side, curves and lines, not like any alien script in the Astra database. "Can we land?" Hale asked. "Not on the tower," Cora answered. "But there is a maintenance platform halfway up, connected by an energy bridge. I suggest we dock there." The platform appeared as a small, flat area jutting from the tower's side. It shone with stable light, untouched by the wild winds. Hale brought the shuttle close. Magnetic clamps locked onto the platform with a heavy thud. The motion steadied. The storm roared around them, but the platform remained solid. It felt like standing on a tiny island in the middle of a living ocean. The air outside was electric. When the door opened, Hale stepped onto the platform and felt every hair on his arm stand up, even through the suit fabric. The air hummed, charged with static. Above, the beams of lightning converged and blasted upward into a bright column. "This whole system is hundreds of thousands of years beyond us," Lyra said, scanning the tower wall. "Whoever built it wasn't just advanced, they were patient." Cora floated to a glowing panel set into the tower. "I detect a data interface," she said. "Compatible with none of our protocols, but I should be able to record and translate patterns." She extended thin blue tendrils of light, connecting with the panel. A surge of energy passed through her. Her blue eye flared white for a second. "Cora?" Hale asked. "I am fine," she said. Her voice had a faint echo, like 2 tones speaking at once. It faded in a moment. "The tower accepted my presence. It is downloading something, a framework, instructions." "Instructions for what?" Hale said. Cora processed. Symbols flowed across her inner lens. "For activation," she replied. "This is node 2 of 5. It has been in standby mode. Chiron 5 beacon woke it. It is ready to complete its assigned role." Lightning struck again, closer this time. The platform shook. "And what is that role?" Lyra asked. Cora hesitated. Her lights flickered faster, as if thinking too quickly for her body. "Node 2 controls energy," she said at last. "It draws power from storms and will send it through the network to where it is needed." Hale did not like the sound of that. Needed for what? Cora did not answer right away. More data flowed. The storm seemed to grow louder, as if the planet itself were listening. Finally, she spoke. "It will be used to hold something back," she said. "Something that pushes from outside normal space." The network was built as a barrier. "A prison," Lyra whispered. "Possibly," Cora agreed. A deep tone rang through the tower, lower than thunder. The lights along the structure changed from soft blue to sharp white. The beams above them thickened. "The node has finished waking," Cora said. Her voice was very calm now. "It has accepted me as part of its control grid. It awaits further instructions." Hale looked up at the column of lightning punching the sky. "What happens if we do nothing?" he asked. "Then the nodes will continue a slow, automated cycle," Cora replied. "But now that we have touched them, the process is speeding up. A message is being sent from this world to the others." The air vibrated with the deep tone again. It felt like standing next to a giant drum. "Cora," Hale said, "what did that message say?" She turned toward him. Her blue light was steady. but something in it seemed older now, as if a new depth had opened behind it. It said, Cora answered, Node 2 activated. Proceed to the next lock. The storm roared louder as if agreeing, and far away in the ice dark of Arctes 12, something under the frozen crust began to move. To be continued. Part 3. Frozen grave of Arctes 12. The Astra Voyager left Vorten 9 behind with a trail of disturbed lightning in its wake. As the ship climbed back into open space, the storms below seemed to snarl, then settle into their endless war of clouds and electricity. The amplifying towers kept flashing, now in a slightly altered rhythm, one tuned to a new part of the network. On the bridge, the crew stared at the updated map. Chiron 5 glowed red, marked as Beacon 1 active. Vorten 9 pulsed blue, marked as Energy Node 2 active. And now, a new point had begun to blink in the darkness, Arctes 12. Signal strength from Arctes 12 is rising, Cora said. It appears the third world has begun its own activation sequence in response to Vorten 9. Hale looked at the cold star icon. What kind of planet is it again? Cora brought up old data. A small sphere appeared, coated in deep blue. Arctes 12 is a rogue exoplanet slightly smaller than Earth, she said. It orbits far from its star, trapped in deep freeze. Surface temperatures are below -240 degrees. Known for violent ice storms and frozen methane seas. No known colonies, no life, no reason to go there. Except that something frozen under that ice is waking up, Hale replied. The journey would take longer this time. Arctes 12 lay off the standard travel routes, a lonely body in a distant orbit. As the hours turned into days, the crew grew quieter. The first two worlds had changed them. On Chiron 5 they had seen a planet bleed light into space. On Vorten 9 they had discovered towers that drank storms. No one wanted to imagine what a planet of pure ice could hide. During the trip, Cora finished decoding more of the data she had received from Node 2. There is a central concept repeated in the designs, she told Hale in the lab, a word that does not translate cleanly into any human language. Try, Hale said. She projected a symbol, 3 spiral shapes linked together like a triple hurricane. The closest term is encroaching void, Cora said, something that was spreading, something that needed to be stopped. A force, a life form, Hale asked. The data treats it as both and neither, Cora replied. A living emptiness. A hunger that eats stars and rules of physics at the same time. The ancient builders feared it enough to bend entire planets into weapons. Hale studied the symbol, and we just turned their weapons back on. Yes, Cora said softly, without fully knowing what they are meant to fight. Arctes 12 finally appeared ahead, small and distant. At first it looked like a marble of dull gray. As the ship drew closer, details emerged, vast plains of cracked ice, jagged mountains, frozen storms caught mid-spiral. In some places the surface glowed faintly blue as if trapped lightning slept beneath. The entire planet is locked in deep freeze, Cora said. Even the thin atmosphere is frozen solid in some regions. However, she paused and new readings appeared. I detect an area where the ice is thinner, she continued. Near the equator, a wide circular region where the crust is less stable, seismic activity rising. Like a heartbeat, Hale said. Like something trying to push its way out, Cora replied. The map zoomed into the region. There, hidden under miles of ice, something huge reflected the ship's scans. It looked like a curved shape larger than a city half buried. A crashed ship, Lyra guessed from her station. Possibly, Cora said. Material density differs from the surrounding rock and ice. There are also smaller shapes near it, arranged in lines. Graves, muttered Kent. Only one way to know, Hale said. Prepare a lander with thermal drills. We cut our way down. The landing on Arctes 12 was like stepping onto a dead star. The shuttle touched down on a field of ice so clear it reflected the sky like glass. The air was almost nothing. The temperature outside was so low that even the tough alloys of the ship creaked in protest. Hale, Lyra, and Kent wore heavy suits built for extreme cold. Their boots had spikes to grip the surface. Cora Drone had a special outer shell, glowing gently to keep her systems warm. When the door opened, the air did not move. There was no wind, no sound, only a crushing silence. Feels like walking inside a frozen photograph, Lyra whispered. Hale looked across the endless white plain. In the distance, tall ice spirals twisted toward the black sky. They looked like giant claws reaching up from below. "Let's not stay here longer than needed," he said. Cora marked the thinnest point above the object. Cora projected a circle on the ground with a blue beam. Beneath this spot, the ice is only 200 meters thick. The object lies 500 meters further down. Kent positioned the thermal drill. The machine unfolded, long arms pressing into the surface. With a deep humming sound, it began to melt its way through the ice, sending clouds of vapor into the air that froze and fell back like tiny glass shards. As the drill worked, Cora extended sensors through the forming shaft. "Reading temperature rise below," she said. "The deeper layers hold trapped heat and something else." "Something else," Hale repeated. "Organic signature traces," Cora replied, "but mixed with non-organic structures, a hybrid of technology and biology, very old." Kent whistled. An ancient alien ship crashed into an ice world. If this were not so terrifying, it would be beautiful. After what felt like hours, the drill reached its target depth. The shaft glowed faintly from the heat, a narrow tunnel down into darkness. "Air pressure stable," Cora said. "No dangerous gas detected. I will descend first." She dropped down the shaft, lights bright. Hale followed on a controlled glider harness, Lyra and Kent behind him. The cold pressed in from all sides, but the suit heaters fought it. At the bottom, they stepped onto a new surface. It was not ice. It was metal. The frozen ship stretched out in every direction. They could see only part of it. The rest remained buried in ice, but even that part was huge. The hull was a dark, glossy material with lines of faint blue light running along it. Cracks in the ice around it glowed with the same color, as if the ship had bled into its prison. Strange shapes rose from the hull, towers, fins, spires, now bent and twisted from impact. In several places, the metal had shattered, revealing inner corridors and chambers filled with frozen air. This ship did not belong to humans, Cora confirmed. Design and material are beyond any known civilization in our records. They moved toward a large break in the hull. Inside, long passageways stretched into darkness. Everything was coated in a thin layer of frost. Their footsteps left marks in ice dust that had not been disturbed for ages. Hale shone his light on the walls. Symbols were carved there, the same spiral shapes Cora had shown him in the lab. "Same builders as the network," he said. "Yes," Cora answered. "I believe this ship was either escaping from something or heading to repair something." "In both stories it crashed," Kent muttered. They came to a wider chamber. Rows of strange chairs lined the floor, each facing a central console. In many chairs, figures sat, long, thin bodies wrapped in frozen armor, faces obscured by helmets that looked like masks. Their skin, where visible, was pale and translucent like ice. Lyra stared. "Are they dead?" "Very," Cora said. "No life remains, but their positions suggest panic. They were overwhelmed before they could react." Hale's eyes went to the central console. Although covered in frost, it still glowed faintly from within like a coal that refused to die. "Can you access it?" he asked. "Yes," Cora said. She connected to a port at the side. Energy flickered. Symbols rose from the console in a holographic spiral. They moved fast like a storm of light. Images flashed in the air. A star system burned white as its sun exploded unnaturally. A dark wave rolled out, erasing planets as if they were sketches on paper. Where it passed, light bent wrong. Colors stretched. Space itself seemed to peel. Another image. 5 planets formed in a pattern around a bright core. Machines grew inside them, altering their crusts, their skies. A network connected them, glowing like veins. Then a final image. A huge shadow, shape impossible, approaching from between stars. The 5 planets lit up in response. "The builders created the network as a shield," Cora translated softly. "The void was coming. They needed time. They made weapons out of worlds." "And this ship?" Hale asked. "Sent to extend the network, to find more worlds," Cora said. "But something caught it. It was struck and thrown here, far from its chosen site." The images changed again. Now they showed Arctis 12 itself, once warm with liquid oceans and a thick atmosphere. Cities shone along its coasts, towers reaching toward the sky. Then the shadow fell over it. In a single sweeping motion, the world froze. Oceans turned to stone. Clouds became sculptures. The cities shattered under sudden ice. The void drained the heat, Cora said. Instantly, this whole planet is a grave. No one spoke. The silence of Arctes 12 pressed in around them, heavy and cold. A sudden tremor shook the chamber. Frost fell from the ceiling in thin sheets. Somewhere deep inside the ship, a long, low crack echoed. "What was that?" Kent shouted. "Seismic activity spike," Cora answered. "The ice above us is shifting." "Is it the drill?" Lyra asked. "No," Cora said. Her tone changed, no longer curious but sharp. "The movement is coming from below the ship, from under the ice layer we are standing on." Another tremor, stronger this time. The floor rolled under their feet. A low, grinding sound came from below, as if something massive were turning over in its sleep. "Commander," Cora said, "there is something under this wreck, something not solid. It is moving." Hale felt his stomach tighten. "Can you identify it?" "I am trying," Cora said. "It is large. It has a structure, but not like a normal life form or machine." "It is," the floor buckled. Cracks shot through the metal and ice with a terrible shriek. The chamber split down the middle. Lyra grabbed a support beam. Kent fell to his knees. Hale reached for anything solid, but the ground under him tilted sharply. "Everybody out," he shouted. Too late, the floor gave way. Hale felt himself falling, weightless in a storm of ice and metal. Lights spun. His suit alarms screamed. For a second he saw a deep blue glow rising from the darkness below, huge and curved and covered in moving patterns. Then everything turned black. The last thing he heard before the world disappeared was Cora's distant voice, full of raw alarm. "Commander, something is waking up beneath Arctes 12, the words cut off as he hit the darkness. To be continued, Commander. Hale floated somewhere between cold and nothingness. His eyes refused to open at first. His thoughts moved slowly, like broken pieces drifting in water. For a moment he did not remember his name, the mission, the team, nothing. Only the falling, only the cold. Then something touched his helmet. A soft blue light pulsed. "Commander, Commander Hale, recalibrating suit vitals." Cora, her voice was faint, wrapped in distortion, but it was enough to pull him back. Hale gasped and forced his eyes open. His helmet visor cleared slowly. A thin, glowing mist floated around him, swirling like drifting snow but moving with purpose, shapes inside shapes. "Cora, where are we?" he whispered. Her drone hovered beside him, dim but stable. "We are approximately 70 meters below the crash chamber. You fell through a breaking ice shelf and landed in a deep cavern." Hale groaned and tried to move. Pain shot through his ribs. "Suit integrity 92%, Cora reported gently. "You will recover." He looked around. The cavern was huge, far larger than anything they had seen before. The ceiling arched high above like the inside of a frozen cathedral, covered in smooth sheets of blue ice. Strange formations hung from it, glowing faintly with inner light. The floor below was uneven, ridged with frost and broken metal fragments from the crashed ship. But one thing commanded all attention. At the center of the cavern, half buried in ice, lay a giant structure. It was not like the alien ship above. This shape looked older, colder. Its surface was made of long, curved plates, each covered in faint symbols. It resembled the ribcage of a sleeping titan. It pulsed with slow, deep light like a heartbeat. Hale whispered, "What is that?" Cora floated forward carefully. "This does not match the ship's architecture. It predates it. The ice shows this structure is older than the crash, much older." "So the ship crashed onto this thing," Hale said. "Yes," Cora replied. "The ship was never the source of the seismic readings. This is." The giant ribcage-like object gave another deep pulse. The ice around it shook like a drumhead. "Cora," Hale whispered, "is it alive?" "No," she answered softly. "And also yes." He frowned. "Explain. This is not a biological creature. It is a machine," Cora said, "but it behaves like a living thing, organic patterns, mechanical heart. Mixed technology, something we cannot categorize." A low vibration echoed across the cavern. A thin sheet of ice cracked beside them. Hale stood shakily. "Where's Lyra?" Kent. Cora dimmed. "Their signals are above us near the crash zone, alive but disoriented." Relief washed over him. "Then we climb back," the cavern roared. A massive tremor rippled through the ice, sending shards raining from the roof. The giant structure pulsed faster. The ice groaned like a whale calling in pain. "Commander," Cora said sharply, "the activation sequence is increasing. This structure is responding to something." "Responding to what?" Cora rotated her orb toward him. Vorten 9 activation. Hale felt his stomach drop. So this thing is Node 3. Yes, Cora said, but its function is different, very different. The rib-like plates shifted slightly, pushing the ice outward. A deep crack split across the cavern floor. A slow gust of warm air rose from below, warm air, in a world colder than death. Whatever this machine does, Cora said, it is waking now. Hale steadied himself. We're leaving before it wakes completely. He moved toward the broken section of wall where he had fallen through. It was a tall, jagged hole, barely reachable. Cora, can your thrusters lift me? Not fully, but I can assist the suit's boosters. A faint hum came from her sphere. Ready, she said. Hale crouched, then pushed upward. His suit's small thrusters fired, Cora stabilizing him. He rose slowly, climbing toward the dark opening. Halfway up, the cavern shook again. A deep sound filled the air, something between a metal groan and a whisper. Hale froze. The rib-like machine was turning, not physically, but its inner plates rotated. And from the gaps between them, thin beams of cold blue light scanned the cavern. Cora, Hale whispered, barely breathing, it's looking. Yes, Cora said. It has detected movement. One beam swept across Hale's position. He pressed himself against the ice wall. The beam passed over him. His suit vibrated. Scanning field, Cora said quietly. But not harmful, it is searching. Searching for what? Hale whispered. Cora hesitated. For the key, she finally said. The key? Yes, Cora replied. A trigger, something needed to fully awaken the node. Before Hale could ask more, the beam hit Cora. Her lights flickered wildly. She dropped abruptly, almost falling. Cora. Hale reached for her, catching the small drone against his chest. Cora's voice glitched. The node recognized my data from Vorten 9, alignment confirmed, initiating. The cavern roared louder. Blue light erupted from the machine's core, shooting outward in spiraling patterns that crawled across the ice like living veins. Commander, Cora cried suddenly. We have to ascend now. She boosted his suit with every ounce of power she had. Hale launched upward, scrambling into the broken chamber above. He rolled onto the metal floor of the crashed ship, gasping. Snow and frost swirled behind him. The cavern below exploded with light. Cora, he said, get us out. Cora rose beside him, still flickering but stable. Follow me. They ran through the shattered corridors, slipping on ice, passing the frozen alien bodies, racing toward the drill shaft. Hale climbed first. Metal rungs, cold beyond cold. His suit groaned with the strain. Halfway up, he felt another vibration. The entire planet seemed to exhale. Cora, what is happening? He gasped. Node 3 is sending its activation call, she replied. The same pattern as Chiron 5 and Vorten 9, but colder, deeper. It is broadcasting below the electromagnetic spectrum. Below, Hale said. Yes, Cora answered. It is reaching into places we cannot scan. That terrified him more than heat or storms or ancient machines. What is it calling? Cora did not respond. Silence. Cora, still nothing. Hale climbed faster. He emerged at the surface with a burst of frost. Lyra and Kent were kneeling beside the drill, both shaken but alive. Commander, Lyra cried, rushing to help him. We tried to reach you. Something below started moving. I know, Hale said. We're leaving. Now. Kent pointed at the horizon. The ice far away was glowing. Then it cracked. A massive fissure tore across the land, splitting mountains in half. Deep blue light rose from the cracks like smoke. The air trembled. It's waking the entire planet, Kent whispered. Cora regained her voice. We must return to the shuttle immediately. They ran. Behind them, the ice continued to rupture. Huge sections broke away, sinking into the depths. Something enormous shifted under the crust, like a creature turning in its sleep. The team reached the shuttle. Hale slammed the hatch shut. Launch, he shouted. The engines fired. The shuttle rose just as a massive burst of blue-white energy erupted from the ice. It shot upward into the sky, forming a spiral beam, colder and sharper than the fire of Chiron 5 or the lightning of Vorten 9. Node 3 had awakened. The Astra Voyager took them aboard. Cora interfaced with the ship immediately, transferring everything she had learned. On the main screen, the 3 planets lit in sequence: Chiron 5 beacon node, active Vorten 9 storm node, active Arctes 12 freeze node, active. The sequence drew a triangular pattern in space. 3 points, Hale said softly, of a 5-world design. A quiet alarm chimed. A new coordinate appeared. A world glowing green, orbiting far too close to its star to be real. Nivora Prime, Cora said. Hale stared at the screen. The planet that shouldn't exist. He straightened, pain still in his ribs, frost still clinging to his suit. Set course, Hale ordered. Nivora Prime is next. Far behind them, Arctes 12 pulsed once more, sending a cold wave through the void toward something waiting in the dark. And far away, Nivora Prime glowed like an emerald jewel in the void. From a distance, the planet looked peaceful, too peaceful. Soft white clouds drifted across oceans that shimmered green and gold. Floating landmasses drifted between them, their shapes slowly shifting like drifting puzzle pieces. Sunlight bathed the world in warm halos. It was beautiful, and it was impossible. A planet this close to its star should be burned to ashes, Lyra whispered as the Astra Voyager approached. It should be a ball of lava. Yet it's thriving, Kent added, with forests, rivers, and flying islands. Commander Hale stood at the center of the bridge, hands clasped behind his back. A planet that breaks the rules of physics, he murmured. Whatever keeps it alive will be the fourth node. Cora hovered beside the captain's chair. Her blue eye glowed brighter than usual. I am detecting gravity anomalies across the planet, she said. Some regions have lower gravity than others. In certain zones, gravity even reverses. Reverses, Kent repeated. Yes, Cora confirmed. Which is why the islands float. Gravity bends around them like liquid. Lyra exhaled. A world with adjustable gravity that shouldn't exist. Cora added softly, and yet it does. Descent into an impossible world. The shuttle cut through the atmosphere in a smooth arc. Unlike the violent storms of Vorton 9 or the silent death of Arctes 12, Nivora Prime greeted them with calm winds and gentle light. Birds, real birds or something like them, flew past the shuttle in bright patterns of green and blue. And below them, across a valley of mist, stood a structure that did not belong, a floating pyramid. It hovered several meters above the ground, held in place by invisible currents. The walls were smooth, made of pale white stone that glowed faintly. Strange symbols ran along its sides, shifting like liquid silver. That's it, Hale said, the core of Node 4. Cora extended her sensors. The structure is manipulating local physics, she said, bending gravity, bending light, bending something else. Hale felt a shiver. Something else. Reality, Cora answered softly. It's bending reality. The shuttle touched down in a clearing near the pyramid. The air was warm and fragrant with the scent of alien flowers. Soft grass glowed under their feet, reacting to their movements like bioluminescent waves. It's like walking inside a dream, Lyra said. No, Hale corrected gently. A machine built to feel like one. They approached the pyramid. The entrance was a tall arch that seemed carved from a single piece of crystal. Light rippled across its surface like flowing water. Do we knock? Kent joked nervously. The arch opened by itself. The heart of reality inside, the air changed. Colors drifted in the air, colors that did not exist in the normal spectrum. The walls curved in smooth arcs and symbols glowed as they moved, rearranging themselves continuously. It felt like walking through a living puzzle. Cora paused beside a floating glyph. These symbols match the network patterns, she said. This place is the central regulator of physical laws for the planet. Hale nodded, meaning this world is fake. Not fake, Cora corrected, engineered. The corridor opened into a vast chamber, the heart of Nivora Prime. A massive sphere floated in the center, spinning slowly. It was made of pure energy, green, gold, and white. Tendrils of light reached from it into the walls. Humming peacefully, Cora's voice softened. The core manipulates the planet's environment, it shapes the climate, it stabilizes the orbit, it prevents the sun from burning the world. Lyra touched her chest. It's beautiful. It's dangerous, Hale said. It can rewrite physics on command. As they approached, the sphere pulsed once, twice in the familiar network rhythm. The beacon pattern, Kent whispered. Yes, Cora said. Node 4 is responding to the other activated worlds. Hale stepped forward. Can you interface with it? Cora hesitated, her blue light dimmed. I can try, but interacting with a reality-bending machine carries risks. We need answers, Hale said. Cora slowly extended her energy tendrils toward the core. A pulse of green light struck her orb. She shuddered. Cora! Hale grabbed her as she flickered violently. Her voice came out fragmented. Information, too large accessing translation, stand by, streams of alien data filled the air. And suddenly the sphere projected a hologram, a star map. Hale recognized the 5-node pattern instantly: Chiron 5, Vorton 9, Arctes 12, Nivora Prime, and the final unknown world. But then the map expanded. Behind the 5 worlds, beyond them, something huge appeared. A ring structure the size of a moon. It hovered in the void, its inner space glowing faintly. Kent stared. "What is that, a station?" Hale shook his head. "No, it's too big, too ancient." "It is a gate," Cora whispered. The heart sphere dimmed, the hologram changed. Now they saw the gate in motion. It opened like a giant iris. From within, something black slipped through, a shape too large to understand, made of angles that seemed to break your vision if you looked too long. The world around the projection dimmed. The room felt colder. Lyra whispered, "What is that thing?" Cora's voice was barely a whisper. "The Voidborn, the entity the network was built to stop." The hologram zoomed closer. The Voidborn rippled like liquid shadow, stars behind it bent and dimmed, space itself thinned. "It consumes," Cora said, "not matter, not energy, it consumes the rules of the universe." The chamber trembled, the floating heart pulsed faster. "Cora," Hale said, "is the network waking to stop this thing?" "Yes," Cora replied, "but we are ahead of schedule. The ancient builders never intended the network to activate early. Something triggered it." "What?" Hale asked. Cora turned toward him. "You did." Hale froze. "When you touched the beacon on Chiron 5, Cora said, the network recognized you as a command-authorized presence." "Why me?" Hale demanded. "I'm not from this ancient species." "No," Cora said, "but your genetic code carries a fragment they designed long ago. Humans were engineered by them without knowing it." The chamber darkened. The heart core pulsed violently. Alarms blared. "The activation is complete," Cora said. "Node 4 is sending reality-stabilizing energy to the other nodes." "And the 5th?" Hale asked. Lyra pointed at the hologram. A new line appeared, connecting to the final unknown world. "It's waking," she whispered. "A dark world," Kent added. "No star, no heat, just night." "The 5th node," Cora said, "the central lock." The room shook again. A deep hum filled the air. Hale steadied himself. "We need to leave now." They turned to run and the floor vanished. Light and shadow twisted together, forming a swirling vortex. Gravity flipped sideways. The chamber stretched, warped, and collapsed all at once. "Cora!" Hale shouted as he fell. Her drone spun out of control. "The core is bending reality. Hold on." The world dissolved, and they were somewhere else. The megastructure Hale hit a hard metallic surface. He gasped, rolling to his knees. Around him the air was cold, silent. "Cora," he called. Lights flickered beside him. Cora drone stabilized. Present, recalibrating. Lyra and Kent appeared seconds later, shaken but alive. The chamber they stood in was colossal, miles high. Metallic arcs curved like the ribs of an enormous beast. Massive pillars glowed with faint purple light. "Where are we?" Lyra whispered. Cora scanned the environment. "We are aboard a megastructure," she said. "One of ancient design, it orbits Nivora Prime." Kent looked around. "Wait, we didn't fly here, we teleported." "Reality fold," Cora corrected. "Node 4 moved us to the next stage of the sequence." Hale stood up slowly. "Why here?" Before Cora could answer, the floor began to glow. Symbols formed. Patterns matched the network. The megastructure activated. A voice echoed through the chamber. Not spoken, not heard, but felt. "Node 4 complete. Proceed to final lock." Cora translated weakly. "The structure is confirming activation." Panels across the walls lit up. A massive star map appeared in the air. At its center was the 5th world, Urandorex, the Dark World, the final node. Hale swallowed. "And what's waiting there?" Cora dimmed. "I do not know," she whispered. "But the Voidborn's shadow is reaching for it." The megastructure shook as a new rift opened in the void above it, dark and silent like a crack in the universe. But whatever it is waking. The rift expanded. Hale felt his skin crawl. Lyra stepped behind him. Kent's breath froze. Cora's voice turned into a whisper of fear. "Commander, something is coming through." The stars vanished. The chamber dimmed. The Voidborn began to emerge.